Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. This is Sunday Comics, and I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning working on scripts, and then went to bed, and then woke up at 9, and I'm out of sorts. But let's turn this over so we get some light on the comic, and hopefully not a glare on my face. There we go. All right, that don't look too bad. How's that? All right, cool. My eyeglasses are shining. All right, so this week it's Sunday Comics. We're going to check out Doom Patrol. This is issue 100, the origin of Beast Boy, and it's also the origin of Robot Man. But they were, at this point in the Doom Patrol, they're kind of doing I gotta wipe this lens. I touched it. I think I got fingernail grease on it. There we go. At this point in Doom Patrol, they're doing short backups, like little solo stories. They're doing the origins and giving everybody their own. Now I look. Forgive me. I just spent like 20 minutes trying to get this front main camera square, and now I can't get this one. All right. This is the worst show. All right. Oh, that is horrible. All right. That'll drive me crazy. That will drive me crazy. Oh man. Why'd I touch anything? All right. I got it. All right. Just don't look at it. I can't help it. That'll be the show, watching me mess around with this camera for an hour. There you go. Okay, that'll work. Sorry for making everybody nauseous. And how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. This week on Sunday Comics, we're talking about Doom Patrol 100. See, there's the 100 right there, 12 cents. In this era of the Doom Patrol, this is the original Doom Patrol. We got Negative Man over here. We got Elastigirl over here, Robot Man over here. We just don't see the Chief. And then we got Beast Boy, who later becomes Changeling in the Teen Titans. And then he goes back to Beast Boy later on. And then we have a second story, the origin of Robot Man. So without further ado, let's go check out this comic. A lot of purple, dinosaurs, and coolness. All right. So you can see this is 1965. 1965. We got the Builders of the Future over here. An ad for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. UNESCO, published as a public service in cooperation with the National Social Welfare Assembly, coordinating organization for national health, welfare, and recreation agencies of the U.S. That's weird. That's a weird ad. I've never seen that ad before. Okay, so here we got the Doom Patrol, the fantastic origin of Beast Boy. So Beast Boy debuted last issue in 99. So Doom Patrol 99 was the first appearance of Doom Patrol. I mean of Beast Boy. And what just happened? Did everything look weird? This drives me nuts. Well, something just happened, but anyway, this is the worst. All right, so last issue was the first appearance of Beast Boy, and he just came out and was like a punk, just was like menacing everybody, but not like more mischief than menace. More Tim Hortons coffee, and then just left. He was like, I want to join the Doom Patrol. They're like, get out of here, you punk, get out of here. So they summarily dismissed him, and now he's coming back to cause problems again. focus. I'm very unfocused today. So let's check out the comments, and then I will proceed with the comment. So first we got Fund My Comic, Heroic Tales. Let's talk about that for a second. Heroic Tales #1 is still available on Fund My Comic. It will be shutting down sooner rather than later. So if you want to get your copy of Heroic Tales #1 fast, it's best to jump on it now, because when I launch the campaign for issue #2, I will be sending everything in one bundle. So, if you order, well, I mean, if you order Heroic Tales #1 and don't order #2, I'll send it out right away. But if you want Heroic Tales 1 first right away, now is the time to get it. If you order 1 with 2, you're gonna get shipped at the same time when #2 is finished. So Renzo will finish the first couple of pages by the end of this week, and then I'm going to send pages over to Kyle Prometheus. He's going to cut a trailer, and then it's Nick Axe will build the campaign page, and we're live. And Renzo is promising to finish all of his work in like a month. He says a month, but I always give myself a little bit of a wiggle room in case there's a problem. You never know. Real life gets in the way. So we could get this out really quick. So Crenshaw says, good morning. What is wrong with me today? I know it's wrong. I stayed up way too late. Crenshaw said, good morning. And Crenshaw starting that show. And when am I coming on, Crenshaw? James Griffin says, good morning. James Griffin is the co-creator of Lucius Kane. His characters will be showing up sooner rather than later. I think issue 4 will be one of his characters, and I don't want to give it away, but the name of that story is Let's Save the Dinosaurs. And we played some role-playing games yesterday. That was fun. Marcus says, hail all. Everybody's saying hello to each other. And Pete Rock says hello. How you doing, Pete? How's everything? How's the weather out there in our beautiful Arizona? Okay, so let's scroll this up. We don't need to see the bottom. So here we go. Doom Patrol, the fantastic origin of Beast Boy. So what do we got here? Beast Boy is holy smokes, we've been invaded by the zoo again. You're right, gauze face. I'm here to make a monkey out of all you. So at this point, you gotta, this isn't just unique to early DC. This is unique to Marvel, and it's still common that when a new character debuts, I always like to say that they're not totally baked yet. Like the dough is still a little soft. Takes a while for it to turn into bread. I don't know if that's an apt metaphor or a bad one, but like a lot of these characters, they don't have their rules set yet. Like the Punisher. When the Punisher debuted, he had like a laser rifle, and he was a mercenary hired by the Jackal. And that's not the Punisher. You know what I mean? He evolved into something else. When Hulk first debuted, he was gray. Although I think that was a color mistake. Marcus, was that a color mistake that the Hulk was gray? Was he always supposed to be green, like Frankenstein? And then he turned into Hulk at night. He was more like a monster. Like, talk about early Marvel. They were hedging their bets. They didn't know if superheroes were going to be the next cool thing, or or stay with the monsters. So they kind of did a little bit of both. That's why the Fantastic Four had the monster on the cover. That's why Hulk was kind of a monstrous creature, like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Frankenstein kind of thing. But the Hulk turned into Hulk at night. Then he needed a ray to transform him into the Hulk. And then he became the rage monster that we know, like he finally set. Ghost Rider. Oh, man. For like 5 years, they didn't know what to do with Ghost Rider. He was just like an unfinished concept. And Ghost Rider again, he turned into Ghost Rider at night. He turned into Ghost Rider when evil was present. Now I think he could transform at will. Things like that. Whenever they don't know what to do with the character, they do a lot of changes. And same with Beast Boy now. So Beast Boy, he shows up his head stays the same, and then his body exactly resembles whatever he's turning into. It's kind of weird, but that's whatever. But nowadays he transforms. He's just, if he turns into a lion, he's just a green lion. If he turns into a monkey, he's just a green monkey, and so on and so on. But look at this. This is Beast Boy over here in the form of a monkey, but he keeps his head. Over here, he's a polar bear, but he keeps his head. Whatever kind of bird this is, but he keeps his head. It's really, really weird. Art by Bruno Premiani, story by Arnold Drake. So he's just menacing the Doom Patrol. He's just a punk at this point. There's a few mistakes in here. I gotta remember to point them out. A couple of interesting mistakes. So this coming Saturday at 10:30-ish. Yeah, DM me. Send me a DM. Otherwise, I'll forget. Anything in these chats, it's it's nice. I remember, but either put a comment in the the real comments, that later, not the scrolling chat, or send me preferably a DM. Then I'll remember. The Hulk was supposed to be gray, but gray didn't print well, so it became green. Okay, I always thought it was he was supposed to be green, but there was a printing error. But he was supposed to be gray. Okay, yeah, gray kind of came out murky. Good morning, Northwood's Nerd. Oh, Northwood's Nerd. Oh, cool, new name. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's always fun to see a new name. So we got, this is 1965, so it's like we got, look at him over here. He's like James Dean. He's got that leather jacket. He's slim. He's got that cool guy hair, and he's squaring off over here against Robot Man. And over here, he turns into a frog. He missed me. Changed into a frog. Lion. You know what? I really like the animal drawings. That is like a beautiful. I said lion, but it's a tiger. Oh my! I like this tiger. It's got the weird head, but this is, I would love to see like a nature or a jungle book drawn by Bruno Premiani, and then got the butterfly with his weird face over here, and then a fish or jackrabbit and a horse. And what is he doing? He's just messing with them. He doesn't have any motive. He doesn't have any demands. He's just showing up being a jerk. He's just showing up being a jerk. I just want to point out the color schemes over here. So look at this. So they're in the Doom Patrol house. The Doom Patrol, like, they as of now, they just live in like Chief's mansion. And they're inside. So we got yellow walls. That's fine. Now we got red. We got the yellow walls again. Now it's blue. Now we got purple, blue, yellow. Why? Just to differentiate the panels. That I talk about that a lot, and it's something that I'm trying to look at in my own comic, Heroic Tales, and I'm not sure if I'm successful or not. You guys let me know. Where I'm trying to make it easy to differentiate the panels by the color schemes. If every panel was yellow, everything would kind of just turn into a melange and blend together. So Robot Man turns into a horse, kicks him. And stop it, both of you. Rita Farr over here, Elastigirl. She's the voice of reason, motherly intuition, whatever you want to call it. But she stops the fight. That Junior Fink started it. Just let me cream him just once. You and what A-bomb you computerized creep. Look, boy, we told you before, there's no room for you in the Doom Patrol. What's the matter, Santa Claus? Did I make your reindeers look like dogs? That was the last time. Oh, come on, let me join. I don't want to go home again. So now, here it comes. He doesn't like his home life, and he doesn't want to go home, and he wants to join the Doom Patrol. Now, there's better ways to do it than to just show up and start fighting with everybody, And as it's always been a big weakness in all of comic book art, that drawing kids, children, teenagers, toddlers, it always comes off a little weird. It doesn't look right. So he is supposed to be like, I don't know, 14 years old, You know what I mean? So the Doom Patrol, like, we don't want this kid hanging out with us. Go home. You got parents somewhere. You know what I mean? We don't want you around. We can't have you around. It's weird to have you around. So I don't blame the Doom Patrol. But the thing is, Beast Boy didn't come in and talk. He just came in and started fighting. And this little kid's running away from home. So they start to have a little sympathy for him. He's like, he goes, basically they're saying over here, like, if you just came in and started talking to us, telling us what's going on, maybe we can help you. And he's like, I don't need any favors from you. I'm going to Freaks Anonymous. And look, I just need to point this out. Green skin, purple suit. Green, purple, So now we cut to where he lives. So this is it goes, okay, I don't need any favors from Freaks Anonymous. So this is Mr. Galtrey. Now, as far as I know, and I admit my memory is turning into crap, but I've never heard of Mr. Galtrey before being Beast Boy's guardian. So I don't know. Maybe they talk about it in the following issues. There's 22 more issues of the Doom Patrol. I got 5 more that I haven't read yet, and then I buy a couple at a time depending upon the price. And then but as far as I know, Beast Boy was raised by we'll see his origin, but I've never seen this character before, Mr. Galtrey. So he lives with Mr. Galtrey is his court appointed guardian, as he says. And this guy is he just says, my employer is a leading skin specialist. He would like time to examine your ward's strange green pigmentation. You go, what do you think, Mike? I'm just some heartless guy. I can't just sell my kids. He goes, how about 10 grand? You got it. So he was just, look at that face. Look at that face. That's the kind of face that would sell his ward for $10,000 to a cosmetic company to study his weird skin pigmentation. So is it any wonder Beast Boy doesn't want to go home? His court appointed ward is using him for financial gain. So, ta-da! Both sides of the stories. I'm sympathetic to both sides of the story. All right, let's check out the chat. Imagine an artist that could draw other things other than superheroes. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about these artists from this time period is comics weren't just superheroes. You had war, you had westerns, you had nature, you had romance, you had science fi, you had everything that you could imagine. So all of these artists drew everything. John Buscema famously didn't like superheroes. He did it really well. He was a professional. He needed a job, paid well, but he didn't like superheroes. That's why he always jumped at the chance to do Conan and stuff like that. He loved Conan type stuff. So there's a lot of comic book artists that it was just a job, and they took it professionally. Whatever. I think Sal Buscema didn't even like comic books. He just did it, because he was good at it. He was quick. He made a lot of money, and it beats jumping in a hole over at the airport, digging in the rain. Like the paper. Oh, you like the paper that this is printed on? Yeah, me too. I love this true newsprint from this era. I don't know what it just like absorbs the color correctly. And whenever I see reprints, like somebody just told me on Twitter. Oh, okay, let me start at the beginning. Brian Bow responded to my original post of this is what I was doing for Sunday Comics. He said he's always loved the Doom Patrol. Like, he likes the quirky, weird, bizarre comics. If you read Wolf and Batsy, you'll see he just likes things off the beaten path. And he's always been interested in these early Doom Patrols, but some issues could be quite pricey. So and then somebody else, I think it was my friend Cameron from Florida, said that they're making an omnibus. So there you go, Brian. You're gonna have an omnibus available for you for a reasonable price for everybody. But I'm curious if the coloring in this, at this point, 1965, they had 30 years to figure out how to make a comic book, and they got the coloring down to this. And now I don't know, and I've asked this a few times, and I don't recall if anybody's given me a satisfying answer. When they do the omnibuses on the new paper, do they just use the same coloring scales and it just looks different because it's different paper, or do they just change it because they think that's what the modern audience wants to look? But it never looks right to me. This just looks correct. And I'm sure it's because that's what I'm used to. But when you get some Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Fantastic Fours reprinted in an omnibus, it's too bright, and it just looks artificial. Is the word that I keep using. What do you guys think? What do you think? Wow, we got a bunch of people watching. What do you guys think? He just shows up to be a jerk. He would love Twitter. Good comment. That's funny. Yeah. Well, now we know why he shows up. He can't deal with. He's too immature to talk about his horrible home life. He doesn't want to be home. He's being exploited. Like Marcus says, at least he's not being groomed. Yeah. Well, 10 grand to check out his skin pigmentation. Who knows what 40 grand will get? I don't know. Always pleasantly surprised when a comic artist draws kids that look like kids. I was just saying that. And I just want to point out this face one more time. That's Mr. Galtrey. That is a great face. All right, let's turn the page. So let me move my coffee cup. So 3-day weekend, and I immediately turned into a kid. I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning. What, when I retire, I'll probably never see daylight. I'll be up all night. I'm such a night owl normally. So he's going home. He goes, so he just walks in. He goes, well, you going to help each other? Help each other do what? Burn down the local orphanage? And he's like, now here's not, I know Marcus knows a lot of, so, okay, I'm going to read this exactly as this panel is written. So he walks in, he says, help each other do what? Burn down the local orphanage? Like he's being sarcastic. He's a James Dean type of character. And Mr. Galtrey says, aha, Craig, dear boy, glad you returned. You'll have to excuse my ward, Mr. Durling. He has this warped sense of humor of his generation. I'll see you upstairs later, Craig. Please excuse us now. Who's Craig? I thought his name was Garfield Logan. So, in his second appearance, Garfield Logan, Beast Boy, is named Craig. I don't know. This is the latest issue of the Doom Patrol that I'm up to. I read it for the first time this week, and I just like, okay, let's talk about the origin of Beast Boy. I wanted to talk about those mistakes. So there you go. There's another mistake, but it's not that bad. I wanted to turn myself into a vulture and bite off the nose and feed it to him, but I could never let him know that I'm Beast Boy. I'm freakish enough already. So he's saying that there's nothing I can do about my skin color. They know about my skin color, but I can't let them know that I have these powers too. If he's selling me for cosmetic tests because of my skin color, what would they do if they found out that I could shape change and all this stuff? So here's this face over here. So I just explained, you're going to cooperate with Dr. Weir. It's important science. And how much money are you getting out of it? Shut your mouth. I'm your coin-appointed guardian. And you'll do as I say. Be at his office at 3 in the morning. And the next day, he shows up. So I don't know if they thought about this. I'll give Anton Drake the benefit of the doubt. He's a good writer. But the fact that he shows up, precisely on time, to me, that says like he's a good kid. He's a good kid, but he's just so disturbed by his home life situation, like he shows up on time. Like I don't see Mr. Galtrey there, strong arming him. He went by himself, so he has a respect for authority, but at the same time, he's like a troubled kid. This panel alone really, really made me feel sorry for Craig. What are you doing, Dr. Weir? Yes, please excuse this attire. It protects me from certain radio waves. Now let us begin. He's sitting in a chair looking at this. you know, hypnotized machine, and then later that's all it is. That didn't take more than a minute or two. No, hardly more, and you'll be glad to know what we learned. You won't have to return. Thank you. Goodbye. And we got, hey kids, transform Trick Track. Transograms Trick Track is the greatest. The trick is in the track. It's the only road rally makes where separate tracks steer the car. You can set up the tracks as big as you wish, under furniture, around walls, from room to room. This is pretty cool. So it's plastic tracks. I don't know if you push the car or if the car's battery or whatever, but you push it, the tracks just got it on. So, and it's like modular, so you could snap it together, do whatever you want. All right, let's check out the comments. I don't think they adjust the colors much for omnibus printing. So what is it? It's just the, well, it's digital ink on new paper. So it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. Oh, I was just about to turn the page when a comment came in at the last moment. I started reading Neal Adams' Batman collection, and it definitely has been recolored. Yeah, I don't like the new colors. They're just too bright, too artificial, So now he's just walking back, and he's just like, he notices the clock. Oh no, one cotton picking minute. I love the phrase cotton picking minute. I was there for more than 3 hours. Why did the doc lie to me? What did he yipe? Did he steal it? It's still there. So he's got this pendant around his neck. And then the next day, look at this. Look at this baby lizard, Mr. Bonjour. A guy in the corner sold it to me for a dime. My kids love it. It could keep you company on the rounds tonight. You and your $10 million in diamonds. So this is got to be the weirdest crime in the world. So Dr. Weir goes up to the security guard and goes, you want a lizard? It'll keep you company. And the security guard takes the lizard. What if the guy's like, get out of here. I don't want you freaking lizard. I'm at work. I got no time to take care of a lizard. What a weird crime. And then later on that night, it can't be possible. Boom. Something happened. He's shooting at something. The building's got a big hole in it. And already, like instantly, there's a footprint in just marble floor. Here's the story goes off the rails. And like impossible, this creature's been extinct for 200 million years. He's like, well, I'm not. I saw it. They saw it. He's like, I can't believe it. So he's calling everybody. Hello, Paul. Listen, I can't explain it, but you got to believe it. That was a real dinosaur. I know it. Beast Boy, what are you up to now? He's like, you got to let me spank him. So Robot Mind is into some freaky things. What do you know about the prehistoric creatures? Speak up. I can't tell you. I mustn't, but you got to believe me. It's true. Click. He's like, that little drip pulling a gag like this. I don't think it's a gag, Larry. You got to find that drip. We got to find out. So now, meanwhile, down the road, there's a big brontosaurus just knocking the crap out of stuff. They're shooting at it. I just love the way these creatures are drawn. It's like trying to kill an elephant with a BB gun. Call the precinct. Tell them to call the National Guard. Oh, it's off. It's off the screen. So there's dinosaurs running amok in old downtown Doom Patrolville. They never mention the town. They never mention where they are. So I don't know where the Doom Patrol are operating. Neal Adams used to recolor the books himself. Oh, when they did omnibuses? I don't think I have any I have Neal Adams, mostly original Neal Adams. So I don't think I have any collected Neal Adams stuff. So got howitzers. They're firing the poor dinosaur. They got airplanes coming. And now a pterodactyl shows up. Whoa. And it's just interesting to note that only one dinosaur is showing up at a time. So now a dinosaur is coming to dogfight with this jet fighter. And now the Doom Patrol show up. Negative Man shows up. So those of you who are unfamiliar with the Doom Patrol, Larry Trainer, the guy in the bandages, he was a fighter pilot He got hit with radiation. His plane crashed, and his body became super radioactive. So they lead bandages, lead coated bandages, wrap up his body to protect us from him. But he could release this being of pure negative X-ray radiation. And from the beginning, they implied that they had different personalities, that the negative man was its own being, but yet subservient, but like mischievous to Larry Trainor. But it wasn't just like his soul or, him in another form, that it was a life form, and they need each other. If the negative man leaves for more than a minute, Larry Trainor and negative man die. It's kind of interesting. So let me go. So negative man, what can he do? He can pass. He's incorporeal, except when he's not incorporeal. He could travel at the speed of light, except when he's not traveling at the speed of light. He's like an energy ghost. So he grabs Garfield. This is really, really interesting. So now they're establishing that I'm saying Garfield because that's how I know Beast Boy's name. He's Garfield Logan in the Teen Titans, but here he was called Craig. So now they know that Beast Boy is not the dinosaur because the dinosaurs are still there. And I love this. So Rita Farr, Elastigirl, makes herself big, carries over Cliff Steele, Robot Man. Robot Man rips his arm off and throws it down the dinosaur's throat and then detonates it. He fills his arm with dynamite and blows up, killing the poor dinosaur. You can see its head flying off. Poor dinosaur. Poor dinosaur. And here we have a man for Ultra, the multi-alien in Mystery in Space. Ultra, the he's kind of like a alien version of Metamorpho. Oh, Oscar's here. Hey, Oscar. How's it going? Did I see the live action series? There was the Doom Patrol live action series. It was made, if I remember correctly, it was like in that Paul Dini, era, Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, Justice League the animated series. I think they did a short Doom Patrol, and I think they did a short Legion of Superheroes. And to answer your question, I did not see it. And let me know if I'm remembering correctly or misremembering, which is getting more and more true as the days go by. So now we got Cap's Hobby Center. What are these? I have a sneaking suspicion that these are just little gag one pages that they bought and kept in stock just to throw in a comic book to as filler. But I don't know if that's true or not. I'm sure Marcus probably knows, or Oscar. But Cap's Hobby Center. So, oh boy, what swell models. I see you're enjoying looking at old models. Yes, I suspect my dad will buy some. Wait till he sees my report card. He's got all A's. So heartwarming. It warms my cockles. I have warm cockles right now. Join my OnlyFans and I will show you my warm cockles. So here we got Patrol postscripts. And if you notice, I forget exactly when, if I even knew, but it's worth noting that this is issue 100 of the Doom Patrol, but it's not the 100th issue of the Doom Patrol. This comic started out as My Greatest Adventure, and I think it was My Greatest Adventure 83 or 86, somewhere around there. It was My Greatest Adventure featuring the Doom Patrol, and then the Doom Patrol just took over this magazine, and then they changed the name from My Greatest Adventure to Doom Patrol. Just like Thor, the original Thor was in Journey into Mystery 83. So the original Thor never had a Thor #1. So when people say, I got Thor #1, it's like, yeah, you do have Thor #1, but you don't have the first appearance of Thor. So the first appearance of the Doom Patrol was in My Greatest Adventure 86. Maybe I'm getting the numbers wrong. But for the first couple of issues, they would have these 1-page, 2-page stories. It was just a little story, text story. And why did they do that? So this would qualify as a magazine. A magazine had to have at least 2 pages. no ads, no ad, no, no pictures. And it was a magazine. It got media rate so that they could mail it from the printer to the distributor, and from the distributor to wherever they needed to go. It was to keep the price down. But now some genius along the way said, why don't we just print letters? We don't have to hire somebody to write a bad story. We could just print letters, and let the kids do the work for us. And voila, the letters page was born. And I love the letters pages. So we got Paul Cassins, Vincent Sumners, Patrol, Vinnie Carlucci. Write to Doom Patrol. Send your letter to National Periodicals, 575 Lexington Avenue, New York. This is a good time to point out that DC was like 3 companies: National, DC, and there's another one. But so this is why, like, the Doom Patrol never really interacts with like Batman, Superman stuff, because it was like its own company, And DC always had like little fiefdoms. They had Vertigo, which was like separate from regular DC. So it was there from the beginning. Do well in school, kids, and your dad might buy you stuff. Yeah. Who's the art? This is Bruto Promiotti doing the art and Anton Drake writing it. The John Byrne run, yeah. It's very divisive. Some people just hate it. Some people like it. Here we got another ad. Tyco. So Tyco trains and model cars. And then by popular demand, Batman and Robin's most fantastic foes. 80-page giant. 80-page giant. So we got some Catwoman over here. The Princess of Plunder. So let's go back to the origin of Beast Boy, part 2. I must tell you, you must tell us what you know. This is serious. Come on, Junior. Fink, start talking or else. I can't. And then Rita Farr jumps in. Stop it. All of you, can't you see the strain that he's under? Now look, son, you got to tell us whatever you want. Tell us whatever you want, and we'll take your time. It's okay. It won't be easy. I've never told anybody this. And then we got the bubble-shaped frames and cut to the origin of Beast Boy. So my father was a great man, a medical doctor who specialized in biological research, and when he dreamed man, he dreamed big. So he's like, look at this tiny thing, this long-range descendant of the dinosaur. We suppose we could reverse evolution and turn it back. So he's notice they don't say any names. So Craig's father is working with lizards, and he's just unraveling the secrets of evolution. So because I think by studying the DNA, I can unlock, all the secrets and basically transform creatures into dinosaurs or whatever, and then little Craig breaks this bottle, and the father, Marie, get the child out of here. I don't know how many times I told you to keep him away from my experiments. Pretty bottle. Nice bottle, want pretty colored water, and then look at this maniac face. That's it. I've done it. I've turned back the clock of evolution. So he figured out how to, like the high evolutionary over at Marvel Comics, how to, control and master and force and unforce the secrets of evolution. My oldest son loved John Byrne's Doom Patrol. Yeah, we'll talk about the iterations of the Doom Patrol after this. So now the father, who's kind of a jerk, but not a total jerk. I've done it. I've finished, I've solved my research. And she's like, well, that's good. Well, that kid's dying. I didn't want to warn you. I didn't want to say anything because I know how much you love your research, but that child's on the verge of death. That's horrible, Marie. What is it? The natives call it sakutia, a fever related to malaria. No single cure. No human being has ever survived. What do you mean? What do you mean? Do animals survive? Good idea. There's a case of a African green monkey. What a cruel joke. If he were green, that's it. No time to waste. You'll have to assist me. So what a coincidence. The only thing that could save their son from this horrible disease just happens to be the very thing that he's working on. So they're doing spooky treatments, some laser beams, because I don't know that. Because Mark, could this thing? So we got Mark and Maria, and then Craig. Remember, Beast Boy's name is Craig in this issue. I don't know, but I do know this. Without it, he will die. If we can move him back through the evolutionary chain back to the green monkey, we've got a chance. So look, he's turning green. Yeah, we've made it. He'll remain in that form for 24 hours until he's defeated the disease. So the parents, the father specifically, rewrites his DNA so that he turns into a chimp. And yes, who said this? Old Dirty Fatty. Good chimp face. Absolutely. I love this 3-panel sequence over here. I just love this. I would love to see a Bruno Premiani, however you pronounce his name, do a nature series. You know, how cool would that be? You know, him doing Tarzan. Oh my God. Look at that animal face. It's so good. It's so good. It almost stands out, you know, as odd. Like one of these things does not belong here. You know, that panel is just so good. It's almost like photorealistic, you know. So within the infection, with the infection ending, they succeeded in returning me to normal in every way except Mark. The boy's skin is still green. I don't know why. Some imperfection in the system, but I'm just glad he's alive. So now, you know, he's running around, acting like a regular kid. And a black mamba is about to kill mom. But mama, it'll kill you. Don't move. So he's like, I'll take care of it. And he instinctively turns into a mongoose. So look at that little face. Here he is. He's a mongoose. And now he's mongoose versus the snake. You know, some classic, you know, Rikki Tikki Tavi stuff over here. And did they change it? Oh, did they change his name to Garfield? That's what I'm wondering. This is the latest issue of Doom Patrol. There's 22 more issues, you know, so I got to see what's going on. Did he change his name when he moved in with Rita Farr and Mento? What happened to Galtree? These are all mysteries to me. Would you rather have a dead son or a live monkey? I hope I never have to make that choice. It's not easy being green. Him and Kermit know that. So does the Hulk. Mongoose for the win. So let's turn the page. Let's see if Zach 10 has predicted it. Yes, so we got little mongoose with freaky little hair, black mamba's dead eyes, and he comes walking through. A little color mistake over here. It must be your secret, son. The world learns about it. They'll do anything to take you away from us. You'll never be safe. So don't tell anybody you have these powers. Yes, Daddy. It means I mustn't change into a pretty bird or a lion or anything when anybody's watching. So now we got some Land of the Lost nonsense over here. We stayed in Africa until the rainy season, and it was the worst ever. Our entire camp was washed away when we tried to escape. So, you know, they're going to go over the high on the rapids. They're going to lose this mighty craft, except they don't go to 1,000 feet below. But what? Wow. Could you imagine if somebody was to take over Doom Patrol and they find out that his parents are alive, you know, in the Land of the Lost? So they tell him to turn into a bird to escape, and he watches his parents fall to their death. You know, he's a kid at this point. He's a baby at this point, you know. And even Cliff Steele, even Robot Man is just like, man, you got a bum rap, kid. And Rita Farr, that's why you wouldn't talk. You feel guilty because they lived and you died. Oh, no. And, you know, even Garfield's shedding a tear. He goes, but what do you got to do with these dinosaurs? When my father left me this capsule and told me never to be separated from it. He said it contained the secret of the reverse evolution, which I could learn when I was 21. So he opened it up. There's a key to like a bank vault and it's empty. Oh, the key is in there. He goes, it's possible. I've never taken it off. He goes, that's it. During the time you can't account for, we had the key duplicated and returned to you. So remember, he was out for 3 hours, which also begs the question, how did that guy know about it? You know, I don't know if these things get answered yet. You know, I got to read more. I got to read more of these issues. Okay, let's go pay a visit to the king of the dinosaurs. Dr. Weir's place is burning up. That's his assistant, Sterling. Dr. Weir's gone mad. He set fire to all of the papers. The house caught on fire and ran off. a kook with a weapon like that, we got to be trouble. So now Dr. Weir has the ability to turn lizards into dinosaurs, and he's using it to rob banks. I just love the limited thinking of these villains. You know what I mean? Like a secret like that, and now he's just calling himself the Dinosaur King. He's got these like steampunk goggles and like a little tiny, like golf club that he uses to prod the dinosaurs. And again, look at this. This is so good. This is so good. So now there's a ship over here with gold bullion. He's just gonna attack it with riding a brontosaurus. Man, I kind of help rooting for him. Go man, go live your dream. Before I turn the page, let's check out the comments. Oscar says it's hard to keep a secret if you're green. Well, that's just it. At the beginning, poor Craig, as he's called in this issue, is being sold to scientists so they can study his skin complexion, but they don't know about his powers yet. He's keeping that secret, but can't keep the green secret. So poor Craig. Do you remember the Land of the Lost lyrics? Yeah. Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition through the greatest earthquake ever known, high on the rapids that tossed that tiny craft, and then went down to 1,000 feet below. Rita from the top rope. Where's Rita from the top rope? When he's 21, does it involve alcohol? Hey, Marcus. Robbing banks with dinosaurs because that's the only way to make money. Yeah, absolutely. You gotta rob banks with dinosaurs. We got 10 billion in gold on the ship. We can't leave it. And the other guard goes, okay, you stay, chump. I'll give you regards to your widow. So now the Doom Patrol show up. And here he is, Beast Boy. They put a silly mask on his face. I'm in the Doom Patrol. I'm wearing a uniform. What a kick. I sure like working with you, but why do I have to wear this dopey thing over my face? Of course, remember what your father said? Nobody must learn your identity as Beast Boy. Hey, kid. Here's a logical question from Robot Man. Hey, kid, when your body changes, how come your clothes disappear? They don't. Emanations from my body give my clothes the natural camouflage. They match my skin. Hey, where's Weir? So when Beast Boy transforms, his clothes just are still there. They just look like fur. They just look like worm. They just look like dinosaur, What do you want? It's all ages comic book in 1965. So he starts swinging the anchor and he lassos this. I guess it's a Diplodocus, right? The Brontosaurus doesn't exist. Attaboy, Robot Man, you ride him. And I love this. Crazy dinosaur master over here. He takes a bird out of his pocket and transforms it into a pterodactyl. Pterodactyl starts attacking Robot Man. And Elastigirl, she's starting to show some like growth in her use of her powers. So she gets big and she stretches her arm, which as far as I know, I think this is like the first time. And then she makes her fist big. So she's got like, powers of the modern Marvel girl, the embiggen powers, but I just have to laugh. Rita Farr is considered a freak. Her powers are weird and bizarre. For a beautiful actress to be able to deform her body made her an outcast. And then modern Marvel that doesn't know comic book history, they give the same powers to a little girl. You know what I mean? Little girls don't want to deform their bodies. Nobody wants to be Kamala Khan. And then Negative Man catches Robot Man. And then we got this mammoth with this cool James Dean pompadour. Just rams this poor Brontosaurus, and I feel so bad for the Brontosaurus. I just feel so bad because it's not in control. And then we got this Tyrannosaurus Rex over here. Tyrannosaurus Rex just starts fighting against the mammoth. Garfield Logan is just a powerhouse. I keep saying Garfield Logan because that's the name that I know him by. But in this comic book, he goes by Craig. They never said his last name, and he's being raised by Mr. Galtree. So before I turn the page, where am I? Eric Guapo shows up. How you doing, Eric? Good morning to you. When Beast Bay is a dog, is he his own best friend? Yeah, just like Bog from Spaceballs. Unstable molecules. Yeah. I will be doing a variation on unstable molecules in Heroic Tales. The Patriarch is already wearing an unstable molecules suit. You know, a superhero resistant suit. Not soup. He wears, you know, his costume could withstand his powers. And more on that in the future issue. You know, I didn't really give much of the backstory of the Patriarch yet because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do issue 2. I just wanted to tell an action story. You know, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I thought if I just came out with all the backstory stuff, it wouldn't be too interesting because nobody cared about the character. Beast Boy is like a druid who could change into animals he's seen, and this is the DM's way of letting him have access to dinosaurs. Good point. Bonus points for knowing. Yeah, that's from Spaceballs. Hey, Marcus, waiting for the paint to dry in the rain. What's up with the Doom Patrol? Hey, Matt, how you doing? Good to see. What are you painting? Another big project like in your garage? I remember you painted some big gigantic project that was like, you know, you had to walk on and everything, and I was getting nervous watching you. Like he's gonna ruin it. But Matt, that's professional. So you got some big project going. But you can play the 50-foot woman without special effects. Absolutely. Have superhero video games caused DC or Marvel to specify superheroes' powers more than already? That's a good question. I never thought of that. That's a good point. Good question. Right? And I know a lot of the video games kind of like change their powers to make them video game powers, you know. But I don't know. I'm not I only play one game. I play Civilization. I just love, and I play Civilization 5. You know, I just hate Civilization 6, and Civilization 7 doesn't look like it's going to be much of an improvement. I don't think that was completely brought on by video games, more towards people wanting more details. Again, that's an interesting conversation that I really can't offer since I'm not a video game guy. All right, but I do play board games, and this after. For years, there was like a dearth of superhero board games. Now there's a plethora of superhero board games. So now I'm calling nonsense on this. So now the Tyrannosaurus Rex is laying on the ground. He knocked into it as a mammoth. It falls down and he turns into an insect. What are you going to do as an insect? He goes, you'll see. And look at this freaky picture. He puts it to sleep. I'm a CT fly, you jerk, and I just gave the worst case of instant sleeping sickness on record. I'm calling BS on that. So here's your Dr. Weir the way he really looks. Darling, his assistant. There was only one of them pretending to be two, so he could peacefully be Darling and cooperate. And then he could operate criminally as Dr. Weir. It was a cool gambit. Only we were cooler. So you never saw Dr. Weir without those crazy goggles. And then the very next panel. I'm sorry, boy. We haven't the legal right to keep you here. Only your guardian has. So we're sending you back home to that creep. Okay, but you believe me. The kid's all right. He's all right in the scrape, but he's still trying to con us about the guardian. Are you sure he's lying, Cliff? I'm not sure. So here we got the Doom Patrol sending Craig back to Mr. Gantry because he's a minor. They can't just have him live at their house for a variety of reasons. So there you go. Here comes Double Barrel Blast, the Challengers of the Unknown. So we got Robot Man selling Challengers of the Unknown. I got to admit, I don't know much about the Challengers of the Unknown. I don't think I have any comics. Oh, there was a reboot in the 90s. I think that's the only Challengers of the Unknown I have. So we got Cars, Superman and Wonder Woman comics, Brave and the Bold. How do you think she would do against Giganta? That's a match. That's a perfectly made match. I think Rita would win because she has all the powers of Giganta and then some. Yeah, well, Marcus painting a 12 by 20 painting for a TV show. Wow, that's a lot of. When you do it a 12 by 12 painting, is it hard to keep things in the proper perspective? Like if you have like two people, like I can imagine you focus on the head and then like the body would be all out of proportion. That I'm not an artist, so what do you do? You draw like a grid to keep everything in. That would be tough because at least a piece of paper you could see the whole image. You know, but like a 12 by 12, you're painting a hand over here and you're painting a foot like that. That must be so difficult to keep everything in the proper perspective. Beast Boy's powers would make more story sense if they were more magical. That's what I think. Challenge to the Unknown. Yeah, the proto Fantastic Four. It was even Jack Kirby. Yeah, look at the ads. I love the ads in this old comic, in these old comics. I love the ads. I got Matt, I got Brian and Fabrizio returning in issue 2 of Heroic Tales, doing more ads. And I got a couple other things in the works, but I love these old ads. And again, I keep harping on this, but when you get collected editions, like the Doom Patrol Omnibus is not going to have these ads. It probably won't have the letters pages either. That's part of comic book history. That's part of the comic book culture. I'm sure the introduction of the letters page and OCD kids asking tons of questions helped solidify some characters' powers. Yes. Yeah, I would say yes. And I would also say it helped solidify like this, I hate this word, but community of comic books. It became like a club. You could see your name in the letter. You could see, and also, oh God, excuse me. It became a way to get into the industry. People like Roy Thomas, Kurt Busiek, I know there's more, but Kate Ironwood. These people started out writing letters, and they became familiar to these editors, and then they show up at DC and Marvel, and they're like, "Oh, you wrote all those wonderful, yeah, sure, yeah." It was such a, I think, a great part of the comic book industry, comic book history, and it's a shame that you slab them or whatever, and this stuff gets forgotten about. Heck, wasn't he called the Changeling at one point? Yes. I got the Teen Titans, the Marv Wolfman, the new Teen Titans, Marv Wolfman, George Perez. That was my introduction to Beast Boy. He was called Changeling then, and his secret identity was Garfield Logan, and he was the ward of Steve Dayton Mento, and Steve Dalton Mento was the widower of Rita Farr. So I imagine there's 22 more page comics after this. So I imagine they'll fill me in on the details. I used the old school method of gridding the art and enlarging. Oh, there you go. There you go. That answers that question. That's what I figured. Did any of the current editors write any letters? Good question. Good question. I can't answer that because I don't know who the current editors are. I can't believe that oh wow, it's 2025. It's 10 years of no new Marvel, no new DC. So it's a whole new world. But do you think Heather Antos wrote letters when she was 12? I'm gonna doubt it. Denny O'Neil didn't write letters, I don't think, but like I think he was just hired like as a guy who I don't think Denny O'Neil was a letter hack. I don't think he was there from the beginning. But Roy Thomas, I know, was a letter hack. Kurt Busiek was a letter hack. I'm trying to think, but I know that there's so many more. But I'm going to say no because they don't get it. They just don't get it. Show me your collection, Matt Barr. Show me your collection. I've always busted on Lopresti about buying slab comics. Yes, I have the story in the essentials, but yes, absolutely. Dave Cockrum wrote letters. Oh, there you go. There's another one. So this is one of the things that I always do whenever I look at these old comics. I always want to look. I always look to see if I recognize the names, and I do recognize the names, but they're just. Old man brain is just rotten. So now we got an untold story of Robot Man. This is the backup story. by the same team, and it's Robot Man, wanted dead or alive. Come and get me. Come and kill me. Who wants to spend my life inside a tin can body? So this is actually pretty sad. This is Robot Man trying to commit suicide by cop. You know, it's the only way to describe it. So we go to the origin of Robot Man. Cool as hell. He's Cliff Steele, race car driver. He gets into a car accident. He's got burns over 90% of his body. There's nothing they could do. He's going to die unless we could call in this specialist to save his life. I love how you could just put a brain in a pan. Just put a brain in a pan, move it over here. They put the brain into this Robot Man body and discard the body. His body is gone. You know, and now we got this blonde nurse. You know, he's looking. He's like, oh, what's wrong with my voice? My voice sounds, what the hell? And he realized he wakes up as a robot body. And the nurse is like, you got to learn how to do everything. That can't be me. I'm not human. I'm some sort of monstrosity. Now, I think that's pretty accurate. If you were to get into a car accident, you know, I got into a car accident. I never lost consciousness. But can you imagine if you got into a car accident, you lost consciousness, you woke up in a different body? That's body horror. That's terrifying. You know what I mean? So I don't blame Cliff Steele for behaving like this. All right. What does Old Dirty Fatty say? The writers used to be fans and knew and respected the law. Absolutely. I cannot stress this enough. It was Henry Cavill that cemented this idea into my head. I kind of had it, but I couldn't express it eloquently. If you don't like the nerdy little details, you're not a fan. Fans love the nerdy little details. You know, the actually guys that, you know, that actually Luke Skywalker, actually, you know, Battlestar Galactica, blah, blah, blah. Those guys are the fans, and we make fun of them, and we've been conditioned to make fun of them. We call them the actually guys, and I did it too. It's just, you know, it's just the powers that be making fun of the fans so they could change it and ruin it and do whatever they want with it. You know, the actually guy was right all along. Ew, Robo John. At this point, if my hips and everything don't hurt, I'd settle for a robot body, especially if it meant I was immortal. So now here's the mistake. See if anybody notices the mistake. I'll just be quiet. We're going to turn the page. See if anybody notices the mistake. So Robot Man is smashing the mirror, and he's threatening the nurse. Just going to be quiet for a second. See if anybody notices the mistake. You call this living? Okay, sweetie. How about a date tonight? How would you like a kiss? These iron lips? How'd you like to marry me? She goes, stop. He's scaring me. So he's just acting like a freak. I'll do more than that. I'll chop this joint into a pile of toothpicks. Who's this mad medic who did this to me? I'll bash him. And he's just throwing everything. He's just going rage crazy. You know, so the interns, orderlies. Don't worry, nurse. 2 of my muscle boys can handle that noisy tin can in there. And then boom, he just smashes them through the wall. Okay. Before I go to the page, the nurse all of a sudden has black hair. The nurse had blonde hair, and now she's got black hair. I guess Robot Man scared the peroxide out of her hair. So now he's just going nuts. He's just getting on a gurney, just pushing himself down the hall. And now they're calling Dr. Niles Calder. You got to do something about this guy. He's just going nuts in the hospital. So they said he still needs to breathe. He still needs to get oxygen to the brain. Gas him. He's like, I should have figured they would, he passed out. He's like, we got to do something. And here he is, chained to a wall like a monster. He's an enemy of mankind. We have to kill him. So now we got all these doctors like I worked on him. You know, give him time to adjust. He's like, no, we got to kill him. This is a supervillain. You created a supervillain. So they talk to him like, will you calm down? I want to help you because I'm beginning to see it won't be easy, but I think I could give it a chance. I could help it. Okay, we're going to let you out. He's like, faking it. You fools. And he's going to kill them all. So, and he escaped. He tricked them all. He goes, he's escaped. I warned you, Dr. Calder, but you wouldn't listen. Hello, security. Close. You know, so now he's just smashing through gates. He's running through this amok through the city. He's going up the bridge. I don't know if it's in San Francisco, New York. They don't say. Now jet fighters coming out. He's smashing them with steel girders. He's using the supports, to swing around. He's just causing destruction. Oh, it's New York. How do I know it's New York? Because he's at the statue of Atlas. There he goes. He's climbing the Atlas. We got him up a tree now. So yeah, so he's in Manhattan. We got the Riddler over here. I love this old school Batman. So this is DC. Okay, let's take a pause. Commercial break. Oh, I skipped the chat. He still has human emotions. Yeah, and he's freaking out. He has a new body. You know what I mean? Can you blame him? And remember, Ben Grimm did the same thing. Ben Grimm did the same thing. He was out of his freaking mind with a new body. You know what I mean? It's terrifying. Unless I woke up and looking like Brad Pitt, I'd be like, oh, okay. She was a bottle blonde. It looks like Bruno tried to be Kirby in that first panel. In 1970, oh, you know what? Now you got me curious. The first panel of this story. This panel. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, you're right. In 1977, at 11 years old, I sent a check with an ad I cut out of the late 1968 comic for a box of Army Men. I felt dumb when they returned my check with a note said they can't honor that old ad. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so you're 10 years too late. 10 years too late. And you ruined your comic. Robot Man versus Metallo. Hey, Torchbearer Studios, how's it doing? How's the FUG going? Why is the Penguin giving a riddle? Riddle me this. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Where's the Riddler? You're right. Why is the Penguin riddling me? I think he means the panel with the huge fist. This panel? Which panel you mean? So let's check out National Comics. 10 issues of one of your favorite magazines for only $1. Whoa. So we got our Army at War, Challenges of the Unknown, House of Mystery, Superboy, Atom, Bob Hope, Black Hawk, The Unexpected, Hawkman, Jimmy Olsen, Green Lantern, GI Combat, Sugar and Spike, Batman, Doom Patrol, Star Spangled War Stories, Flash, Fox and Crow, Metal Men, Brave and the Bold, World's Finest, Mystery in Space, Justice League, Strange Adventures, Adventure, Detective, and Action. Pretty cool. So I'm just curious now. Now I want to go down. So how many comics we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we got 30 comics coming out from DC. And how many of them are superheroes? Is Challengers of the Unknown superheroes? No, they don't have powers. So we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. So less than half of Marvel is superheroes. Some of them are arguably superheroes. Like Strange Adventures. That's sci-fi. Is that superheroes? But yeah, there you go. We'll say half for superheroes. Oh, the huge fist panel. This panel. Okay. Did I ever do a monthly subscription of a comic through the mail? Yes, twice. I subscribed to Doctor Strange because it was impossible to find in my neighborhood. And the original Captain Marvel, but it got canceled, so they gave me Marvel Spotlight. Yeah. So twice. Okay, if I'm up a tree, look out for the flying chestnuts. So he throws the globe from Atlas, and now they're just talking. We got to take him out. We got to take him out. He's a menace. Cliff Steele never committed a crime in his life, so this insanity must be due to an error I made during the brain operation. I'm responsible for his madness, and I alone know about his metal body to stop him. You've got to give me a chance. All right, you got one chance, but if you fail, Cliff Steele must be destroyed. So now, they got the army set up. He's out in the field. Cliff Steele turned out off all the electricity. He's just pulling out the good. It's overtime for me. Say, Cliff ain't that bad. He's giving me some overtime. And now he's just electrifying people. They're shooting at him. And Cliff Steele, Clyles Nalder pops up. No, you've got to give me the one chance. You got to. And they're like, don't miss next episode with the daring series about the most sensational character ever created. Make sure you get your copy next issue. So that's it. It ends on a cliffhanger. So Cliff Steele ends on a cliffhanger. And we got some Jimmy Olsen comics. 238 magic tricks for only 50 cents. That's a bargain. 100 magnets for only 79 cents. That's a bargain. And Little Pete. Goodbye, Mrs. Ellis. I've had a nice time at Willie's party. Don't you like something to eat before you leave? No, thanks. I'm full. Then I'll put some cookies and candies in your pockets to eat on the way home. No, thank you. They're full too. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Now we got a Batman comic. Have you heard the big news about G.I. Joe? So these are the big G.I. Joes with the fuzzy hair. My older brothers had these. And now we got this nice sports ad in the back. Great moments in sports. So football ads. And then you make these dioramas. Dioramas were big as a kid. So there we go. We got Doom Patrol 100. Let's check the chat. I did Amazing Spider-Man for most of Bagley's run. Oh, you subscribed. I was like, wow, you drew that? But yes, you subscribed. So I'm done. At this point now, I shut it down unless the chat keeps going. Oh, let's talk a little bit about the Doom Patrol. So the Doom Patrol made it to 122 issues, and it was selling really bad. They canceled it. That's why comics get canceled. Imagine that. They don't sell too well. They cancel it, and they don't just call the fans Nazis and stuff like that for not liking it. They just move on because it's a business. So Anton Drake and Bruno Premiati, they killed the Doom Patrol. They killed them. They blew themselves up. They sacrificed themselves to save the lives of 12 people in a small village in Maine. And as far as they were concerned, it was the end of the Doom Patrol. Never to be seen again. But you never say never in comic books. So, but they did something else. They had the new Doom Patrol. And what they did was they had a Rani Calder, and it was like an Indian woman who was the estranged wife of Niles Calder, and she's showing up trying to say they're alive. And it was kind of interesting. So she gathers up Negative Woman, Tempest, and I forget who else. And she just goes on trying to find that Cliff Steele. Oh, they find Robot Man. He survives. They find his head case and they build him. And he's just like, yeah, we're dead. And she's like, no, we're not dead. And I really like that idea of this is like a grieving woman who wasn't there for her handicapped husband, and she just won't accept their death, and she keeps looking, and everybody just goes along with it because they're like, poor woman is grieving in her own way. It's kind of mature. And then of course they find Niles Calder. They find Negative Man, but the only one who really died was Rita Farr. But they rebuild her elastic body with it's really like the moral they clone her, and then they bring back another version in the 80s with Grant Morrison's famous run, and they they full on turn Niles Calder into an immoral scientist, and then there was another version. Was that the John Byrne version? And they kind of had like a creepy dom submissive relationship with Niles Calder, and then the new refurbished clone of Rita Farr. It was kind of creepy. And then they had another version that had completely different characters. And then after that, I lost track because I lost track of Marvel and DC. So that's a short history of the Doom Patrol. Do you imagine what you could do with 100 magnets? What power? Yeah. You subscribe to a lot of comics. I didn't, because I didn't like the conditions. Again, I'm not like a condition queen, but I do want my comics to be in good shape. Like, this is fine. This is fine. I don't need them to be 10.10s, but my Doctor Dooms, and then I started to find Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange. Then I started to find Doctor Strange. So, what I think at that point I had a car and I could drive to stores. I could finally get the damn ball bearing that rolled beyond my fridge if I had 100 magnets. On my way to church. See you. See you, buddy. Those DC comics had real innocence to them. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. And now I wouldn't touch these things with the 10-foot toll, back then. But I was an edgy, pretentious punk rock kid. And now, they say you're the happiest you have ever in your life in your 50s. Can't argue with that. And now I'm finding all of these innocent comics super charming, super charming. I really like them. Did you read some of the recent Doom Patrol, Gerald? No, I didn't. If it's after 2015, I didn't read it. I quit cold turkey Marvel and DC 2015. I tried watching the live action series, but Brendan Fraser was yelling at top phone. Oh, the live action Doom Patrol. I watched the first season, and it's rough. I like the casting. I like the costumes. It's low budget, but it's kind of charming in a way. I like what they did with Rita Farr, but I guess I'm not that edgy Grant Morrison fan that I used to be. Baphomet shows up and they're all smiling. That just gave me the creeps. I stopped watching it. I watched one full season. I was like, that was interesting. Now I got to watch the second season. See how, but now it's like an LGBTQ iconic show. I don't want to watch it, but I will sooner or later. I tried to watch it. Yeah. John, I'm thinking about getting Silver Surfer. Do you know much about? Yeah, I got the original series I got the Fantastic Four's first appearance. I got the original series, the John Buscema. I did a video on issue number 1. I forget if it was a Sunday Comics or back when I used to do recorded showcases. But I love the Silver Surfer, and then I did his second series. I did a video with my friend Tony on Sunday Comics for the I think it was called Silver Surfer Black. Yeah, I love the Silver Surfer. Yeah. What questions? What should I start? I mean, it's expensive, but I would start with the collection of his first appearance in the Fantastic Four, and then I'm sure you could get the original series. Is there a collection? There's got to be a collection. Those are just awesome. The John Buscema, Stan Lee Silver Surfer series, Kirby and Mobius. Definitely start with Kirby. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Mobius. And then there was that 150 issue series from like the 80s and 90s. That had some really good. Was it Ron Lim art? I think so. But to me, once the Silver Surfer got free of the Earth, it kind of lost his charm. It was like, all right, now he doesn't have the pathos. He doesn't have that weakness. Ron Lim, yeah, it was Ron Lim. So there we go. Hour and 20 minutes. If the chat dies down, I will die down too. I will bring up this. So this is, I know most of the people here have checked this out, but this is going to be put to bed soon. The clock is ticking on this. And so now's your chance. This is super rare. This is super rare. This is the rarest of all my covers, the Mike Gustovich. By a slight margin, this cover is the second rarest. So, get them while you can. I got plenty of these coins. T-shirts I'm out of right now, but they should be showing up this week. I sold out of my original run of these T-shirts. I got these challenge coins. Nobody bought this yet, but this is a file, so I can't run out to 3D print your own Patriarch. card sets, individual cards. And I'm going to put this to bed pretty soon, meaning that it's going to be the issue, the campaign for issue 2 will be the only way to get the comics. And I want to streamline it, make a little sense. That Oscar Nick Axe originally made it. It was nice, simple, but then I had campaigns on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and I just took all those and smushed them over, and I think it got a little messy. Like if you order different covers, I got to email you and ask you exactly what you get, and it's my own fault. So I'm gonna keep it up. I'm not gonna fix it now because it's gonna be sundown pretty soon. I'll have the next campaign up pretty soon, and Oscar Renzo says that he's finished with all his obligations, and he should be able to finish Heroic Tales 2, he says, by the end of February. But human beings have plans, and reality has plans for those plans. So I'm not going to get carried away. But I would like to launch the campaign probably in February. I was going to launch it in January, but it just seems like it's a bad time to launch campaigns. There's people that are super talented and legends that aren't doing as well, and you can see their frustration. So I got to launch my campaign. So I think I'll wait a little bit longer to see if everything recovers a little bit. Old Dirty Fatty. I just wish there wasn't all the sexual perversion in comics. Absolutely. We don't need this anymore because this in my face is driving me crazy. Absolutely. I just wish there wasn't all the sexual perversion in comics. Why not explore interesting storylines instead of Now, I will say that there is room to explore sexuality in comics. Love and Rockets does it, Peep Show, but those are not for little kids. I will say Eddie is Doomed. I'm going to have some adult content in it, but I'm going to let people know that it's not an all ages little kids comic, but there's some, read it with your family. But again, there's time and a place for everything. I even have a full collection of Omaha the Cat Dancer. Clearly not for kids. There is this mighty for Silver Oscar. You talking about Silver Surfer, the Mighty Marvel Masterworks collection? So there is a collection of the original Stan Lee, John Buscema Silver Surfers. I'm having difficulty talking to it. There you go. There's click on that. Buy up the comics. I got enough overstock, I think, to unless I'm just swamped. I got enough overstock to fulfill if anybody orders issue number 1 for this issue 2 campaign for the Pat Broderick main cover and the Michael T. Gilbert. The other two are going to be scarce, and if people want, I'll make a second printing. And now, if I do a second printing, should I make another variant cover? That's up to you. Let me know. That's something I got to think about. I just thought of that now. I got the Spider-Man Fantastic Four with the early numbers. Yeah, they're so good. They are so good, Oscar. They're such good comics. And thanks for asking. I'm back to drawing Thug now, and my infected tooth. Oh, infected tooth was extracted, and my jaw is back to normal size. Drawing El Chupacabra chasing cattle today. Ooh. I had 2 root canals in my life so far. 2 root canals. Oops, what am I doing? I'm hitting the wrong buttons. We got new comments. I was just about to do my ending spiel. I agree, Old Dirty Fatty. I have, yeah. Now, Reed Richards kissing his wife in the Fantastic Four, that's not sexual stuff. I mean, guys, hate to break it to you, but heterosexuality is the norm. It's okay to have the norm in comics. Sue Storm getting pregnant and having a kid, that's normal. The patriarch has 7 kids with his lovely, lovely wife, Marissa. That's normal. They like to, believe it or not, a happily married couple like to do the lovey-doveys. You know what I mean? I'm not going to explicitly show it, but in issue number 2, it opens with them in bed kissing. Why? Because they're a happily married, well-adjusted, loving couple. You know what I mean? And they're making their plans, and then, of course, the plans get foiled because that's what happens to superheroes. Happy Fun Day with John. Hey, RJ William, how you doing? The patriarchy. Let's hear it for the patriarchy. Let's hear it for the patriarchy. So, I'm all caught up. What's this week? Normally, I give my roster of everything that I have planned for the week. So, I'm looking at my phone. So, here is my schedule for the week. I got nothing booked. I have absolutely nothing booked. Monday and Tuesday, I have friends over for board games, so I don't plan anything for Mondays and Tuesdays. So Wednesday is usually the start of my week. So Wednesday, I have a comic book team up with RJ, and I don't have a guest booked, and I'm kind of enjoying just talking with RJ. But I don't have a 7 o'clock book. Thursday, I have nothing. Friday, I'm going to do Pitch Black. It'll be my first Pitch Black since I have nobody booked this week. It's going to be I'll make an announcement on Twitter. It's going to be an open invite. I don't know who you are. I don't know and you can pitch your comics. Now, I will reserve if I click on your link and it's creepy sex stuff, it's gone. It's gone. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'll click on the link and I'll see it before I bring it to the screen. So, whatever. But it's not me endorsing your comics. It's just come on and talk, Come on and talk. Pitch your stuff. It might be awesome. It might be garbage. That's why I'm calling it Pitch Black, because you get to pitch your stuff and it's black, meaning I don't know anything about it. Then at 8:30, I'm going to do It's Clobbering Time. And this week, it's going to be Conan versus Tarzan. It should be pretty interesting. So, there we go. That's all I have planned. And then Sunday Comics, which I don't know what I'll do yet. So, I'm fine with relationships in comics. I don't want to see the intimacy. Leave it off panel. Keep the cool stuff in the panel. Yeah. Like I have a gay character, but I don't know if it hasn't been introduced yet. But over the course of 10 issues, you'll probably never know. And I'm not going to bring it up. I just want to see if anybody, because I'm just going to write a human being character. And I'm not going to tell you if it's a superhero or a civilian or whatever, but whatever, because they do exist in life. And I do think making all different types of characters is interesting, provided you make them interesting characters. Torchberry, great show. Thanks. Oh, you got it. I just like talking about comics. Hold on. Let me write this down. Write what down? What are you writing down? Oh, my schedule. You're right. My schedule should be easy. All I got is RJ at 8:30 on Wednesday and Conan versus Tarzan on It's Clobbering Time, and then Pitch Black. So I'm actually going to build the streams for the week, and I'm going to make a call on Twitter. But the thing is, whenever I made a call for Twitter for guests, I get a lot of people pitching like porno comics, stuff like that. And I just feel I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You need a second RJ. 2 are better than 1. Yeah. 2 RJs, make them fight. RJ and anti-R. RJ and JR. There you go. And they can battle it out. So there you go. Hour and a half. I think this is a good time to shut it down. Gonna go get some coffee. Go make myself some breakfast. And I want to work on my script. Sundays is usually the only day I really get to write. Saturdays I spend time with my wife. Last night, my wife and I, we watched Role Models. So much fun. I don't know why I brought it up, but we saw that in the movie theater. We just cracked up, and I thought it was crude and funny, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I like this movie. And then last night we watched it, and my wife just said, this is a surprisingly sweet movie, and was 2008. Can anybody think of a comedy that's funny that has come out recently? Like, can anybody recommend a funny new comedy? But I love Role Models. The Comics Code helped. They let them have relationships, but applied. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to get graphic. You don't have to get graphic. There's a time and a place for that, and not in my comic books. Bizarro RJ, the effing was implied. Yeah, recent comedy. You know, is there a funny comedy movie that The Fall Guy was fun? Oh, that's what was that? Ryan Reynolds. Was it funny? I didn't see it. I haven't. This hardly. My wife and I, we would talk about that last night. How we love to go to the movies. We still love going to the movies. I love the whole. We go to the movies. We get popcorn. We sit in the chair. We watch the movie. We laugh. Whatever. We concentrate on the movie. Turn off the phones. We're there to enjoy the movie, and then we go and get something to eat. So we make a night out of it. Granted, I don't have 30 kids. I don't have any kids, so it's just my wife and I. Getting something to eat. It's just fun. It's nice, but there's nothing worth seeing in the movie theaters now. Duck Bacon. Hail John, hail chat. Role Models was a great movie. Yep. The Glass Onion. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. Glass Onion is kind of like Clue. Wasn't bad. I haven't even heard of it. Ryan Gosling was in The Fall Guy. Oh, Ryan Gosling. That's why I didn't see it. Do you ever just have an irrational hatred of some actors? Ryan Gosling, I just want to smack him in the face. I have no idea. He's probably a nice guy. I'm the problem. Role Models showed up just how childlike some adults are when growing up as a process. Yes. And I just thought it was a clever movie. The whole LARPing, it was just good. There was some flaws in the movie, but overall, it was like a cool comic. 2024 was a better year for movies. We enjoyed Twisters. Oh yeah, Twisters. Stranger Than Fiction was a great heartfelt movie. I don't know it. I think it's because I don't watch TV anymore. I literally don't watch TV anymore. Last night, I watched a DVD of Role Models. We watched the bonus features, the bloopers, the character studies. I love DVDs. Not even a Blu-ray. It was a DVD. The last TV show I watched, I recently just rewatched all the Venture Brothers. Oh my god, that is so good. The only thing I'm missing is the movie that ended it all, Baboon Heart or whatever, something like that. But it's on what is it on? It's on Max, and I don't have that. I'm not getting another streaming service. Adam Sandler has 2 movies with Jennifer Aniston that were good. I don't remember the names. Adam Sandler movies are like, they're like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They're not great, but everybody kind of likes peanut butter and jelly, and you get what you expect with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's the way I feel about Adam Sandler. It's like, oh, we're watching Adam Sandler. Lower your expectations. It's gonna have some laughs. That it's peanut butter and jelly. They were PIs. Why are my comments not coming up? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not seeing them. Are you putting links? If you're putting links, they don't show up. But I don't know. Role Models had that sweetness that My Name Is Earl had. People trying to help each other out. I never watched My Name Is Earl. I have a surprisingly limited amount of like TV shows and stuff like that I watch. We watched Flow last night, an animated film about a cat surviving a flood in the Enchanted Land. Wow, that sounds interesting. Can you send me a link? That sounds something I'd like to watch. Sandler hits. Oh, you're a fireman? Yeah, I could see that. Bunch of guys sitting around, watching. I always picture in the fire. I always picture like sitting around in the fireman pants with the suspenders, guy making chili. You know what I mean? Eating chili, watching Adam Sandler movies. That sounds awesome, actually. That sounds like a great day. Of course, that comment worked. Yeah. I'm enjoying Severance. Severance is something I want to watch. Severance sounds good. That sounds really interesting. That sounds good. Hey, y'all. Hey, Duck Bacon. My wife is watching Bones. I'm really, really, really tempted to watch House. I've seen random episodes of House, but now I'm really tempted to watch it all. I don't know why. Trying to think. My wife and I were watching Chuck. and we enjoyed it for a couple of seasons, and I'm just getting like it's become predictable. Like I'm at the season that we're on, where I kind of faded off, is he's married to the girl, they live in the house together, and like I think they already met the father, now the mother, and it just seems like if you watch that show Bird Notice, it just seems like the story is done, the premise is limited, but they're still going. Like Fringe was awesome, but it was 4 seasons of awesomeness, and then 5th season that shouldn't have happened. Supernatural, 5 seasons, awesome TV show, tied it all together perfectly, and then it just spun its wheels for another 7 seasons, 8 seasons, you know. But Chuck has a limited premise. Bird Notice had a limited premise. I keep getting baited house clips on YouTube. I like Hugh Laurie. I've liked Hugh Laurie since he was doing his early comedy stuff. Like he had a bit of Fry and Laurie, I think it was called. It was like a British stand-up show, and it's great. It's funny TV show. I watched all those. I first was introduced to him. I love that show, The Young Ones from Britain, and Hugh Laurie was in it. I think 1 episode. So I always liked him, and it's funny to see that he is known as a goofy British comedian, and then comes and plays this guy House. So I kind of want to watch it. If anyone disagrees, the Heathen and Rabble Rouser with what? Oh, geez, I skipped your comment. Have you watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? One of the best. My nieces and nephews love this show, and they're so amazed that I've never watched it. I think I do want to watch it. There's something about it. I do want to watch it. The last show that I sat and watched and was just I was fascinated by it was Kevin Could Go F Himself. Watch that show. Oh my God, that show is awesome. Kevin could, I think it's 2 seasons. I think it's 26 episodes. I don't know where you could watch it. But oh my, I don't want to tell you anything about it. Just go in cold, watch Kevin Could Go F Himself. It is everything. It's hysterically funny, it's scary, it's touching, it's everything. It's just one of those crazy. It's up there with Wilfred as one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I keep getting baited on house clips. Like, yeah, anyway, okay. Everything's. It looks like it's something I would really, really enjoy. I gotta watch it. House is really good the first few seasons. It looks like it could become formulaic, disease of the week. There's 1 season of House where they put in a new showrunner season, and it's a low point, but they come back next season. Yeah, just like Community. I loved Community, but season 4 is the one nobody likes because what's his name? Harmon got fired because he's an absolute maniac. He's makes good TV shows, but he's a freaking idiot in real life. They're all Nazis. They're all Nazis. He's one of those guys. And then he got accused of sexual harassment and then groveled his way back into the show. I just don't like him. I can't even watch Rick and Morty. It's just like deviance. But I like Community. I like Community a lot. It's one of my favorite TV shows. Shogun's supposed to be really good. And I need to finish Marco Polo. I started watching it and never finished. I never finished S.H.I.E.L.D. It just after the time travel, they go back, and now Coulson is dead, and they got a different Coulson from another. I just was like, and then they get this like Black Quincy doctor, forensic doctor, and he just shows up. He's like, I'm gay. I'm homosexual. I'm a homosexual gay man. How you doing? I'll solve this, but I'm a homosexual gay man. I'm like, oh God, I'm just done. The Bear. People say The Bear is good. Shameless. I watched. And then all of a sudden I didn't watch, so I didn't finish it. They're just too grimy. I need a good guy to root for. The Last Kingdom, that's what I heard. I heard The Last Kingdom's really good. Community, I love Community. Scrubs, I watched Scrubs. I really like Scrubs. 99 Brooklyn, I don't know that. I never heard that show. 99 Brooklyn? Oh, Brooklyn 911. Brooklyn 911. Yeah, I want to watch it because I love Parks and Recreation. Oh my God, do I love Parks and Recreation? Ron Swanson, I love Ron Swanson. Hail chat. There's also shows. Monk. Monk is it was good. I watched Monk, and I forget why I stopped. Psych. My friend Jimmy, who's in the chat probably right now, keeps talking about Psych. I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. It's supposed to be really good. But that's just it. If I have free time, I read comics. If I go back to watching TV again, I have to be in the right mood for Sunny, or it's too much. I have the same Married with Children. I watched it casually, and then I just remember it was like weird. They had like a blonde kid, and then it just got weird, and I stopped watching it. I don't like House. It's a repetitive format. Patient has a condition, no one can figure out. House comes in, rude crest, breaks the law with treatment, ends up saving it. Yeah, it's a formula. It's a formula. Marcus, you're right. The original interns were the best. And Scrubs, yeah, when they had the new people, that was the death of it. Marco Polo was good. Yeah, I'm really liking it. I got to finish it. Scrubs is the most accurate medical show, just like Rescue Me is the most accurate firefighting show. Other medicals in the unwatchable. Yeah. I never watched Rescue Me. I heard it was good, though. I like Parks and Recreation for Chris Pratt. Yeah. I liked what I liked about Parks and Recreation is every character had an arc. From that woman who was the did she play Crazy Jane? Was it the same actress who was the reporter? And at first she was just like sleeping with everybody, but then you found out that she was just like lonely and guys were using her, and she just wanted to get married. Every character just was real interesting. Yes, they had a little bit of a woke preachiness, but it was bearable. It was bearable in that show because the show was so good. The key to House isn't disease, it's watching you. Yeah. The new Matlock is good. You know what's funny? Is my friend Jimmy was over yesterday. We played Villains. Jimmy, if you're still in the chat, say something. But I'm just curious if you're still watching. But Jimmy and I were sitting there talking. And two things. He reminded me that we didn't finish our last adventure, which we haven't played in months. Like at least 6 months. And we didn't finish the last adventure. So Jimmy was like, "Oh, we're starting a new adventure." And then afterwards, he's like, "I didn't want to say anything, but we didn't finish the last." I'm like, "Oh my God, you have no idea how much that bothers me." So I actually have to come up with the story of why they didn't finish that last adventure. Otherwise, it'll kill me. And then we were talking about old NPCs. And he said, "Whatever happened to this NPC? Whatever happened to this NPC?" And I said, "That NPC was active in the 90s. And if she shows up in her Tales, she's going to be 35 years older. She's going to have a different name." And I was her name is going to be Mary Eldridge. Originally, her name was Sally Nile. Sally Nile was this hot, sexy, occult Indiana Jones. She didn't have any powers, but she was the, going around solving occult mysteries. She was an NPC, a non-player character. And she was there kind of like as a motive. Like she would show up, "We need to go and do this." And, and Sally Nile was just sex. I got this picture, some Getty image of this girl who was Sally Nile, just slim, sexy, wore a cat suit, like a short hair, like Evangeline Lilly in the first Ant-Man movie, that short, like just blonde, just sexy as all get up. And she knew everything about things. So she was the occult expert that they would go to. Long story short, she had this weird things, and she got removed from adventuring because of injuries. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil it. And then she loses this, she almost dies from injuries. She's taken out of adventuring, and they kind of forgot about her. She's going to come back 30 years later, puts on a little weight, she's walking with the cane, and she changes her name to Mary Eldridge. And I was saying that she's going to be like Murder, She Wrote, but with occult stories. So the Mary Eldridge mysteries. She'll be solving occult crimes, like Angela Lansbury. Parks and Recreation is amazing. Great writing. I've never watched The Office. I watched 2 episodes of The Office, and it was just so boring. I tried to watch the British one, and I just couldn't understand the language. Just good. Psych was good. People keep talking about how good Psych is. I can never get into Psych. Okay, man-child protagonist is annoying. I noped out of Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory just got more and more grating till I couldn't stand it anymore. Al Bundy and Peg Bundy, no exaggerate, looked almost exactly like my parents. Your mom was hot. Acted like them too. John, sexy woman, kind of a bit of a super. Yes, being a sexy woman is like life uneasy. Gilda Radner from Star Wars. Gilda Radner from Star Wars. Gilda Radner from Saturday Night Live said that she was being interviewed, and they said, "Would you rather be beautiful or funny?" And Gilda Radner said, "I'd rather be funny. Being beautiful is too hard." So there you go. And then I read somewhere that they said somebody was like, "You beautiful women have it life so easy." And then I forget the actress. She said, "Yeah, but I've had my heart broken more than ugly women." Grass is always greener. There was an NBC show, 2 seasons, called Trial and Error. Season 1 that John Lithgow was better than season 2. I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. Well, she tried to squeeze into her cat suit. She had like almost all of her bones broken, in a horrific adventure involving a dragon. So she, and then one of the other player characters actually had to do like emergency surgery. Like one of the characters is a surgeon, and he had to do like emergency field surgery while like a dragon was attacking to save her life. So she was like critically, mortally wounded, and only the fact that like a super intelligent, super agility level, like basically like just imagine if like Reed Richards level intelligence did surgery, you know what I mean? Saved her life. So she was just like, I'm done. She went out to recoup, and I just never used the character again. It's funny how Hollywood will nail character development when they show grace to characters they despise. Ron Swanson was supposed to be making fun of conservatives. That actor is a super liberal, but the fans loved Ron Swanson, and they were a professional business. They can't alienate the audience, and he was a fan favorite. Same with Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker was supposed to be the bad guy. What's his name? Norman Lear was a liberal. I'm not going to say progressive. He was a liberal, and he was surprised at how much the audience loved Archie Bunker. The UK version of The Office is not good. The UK version is amazing. Very similar. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try that Brooklyn 911 because they seem to be like a triumvirate of shows. Change the name for Matlock and I'll try it. Yeah, they just stealing the name Matlock. If you ask me, they're stealing the gravitas of Matlock. Did you see Mystic Quest on Apple TV? No, I never even heard it. Never even heard of it. Or Ted. Everybody loves Ted Lasso. Everybody keeps saying, but you would love it. I've never seen it. Wow, you NPCs. Yeah, there's consequences. When I play role-playing games, there's consequences. Yesterday, we played a role-playing game. And there's a couple of things. I'll play with the new group of guys, Roy, Dave, Scott, if you're watching. You have to tell me what you're doing. You can't assume that I know what you're doing. Like the adventure was these guys are scanning, and I don't want to say what they're scanning for because it'll be a spoiler in my comic. After issue 2, I could freely talk about it because issue 2 I introduced this. But they're scanning the source of superpowers, okay? And one of the characters is studying, like training. Like you could pick what you're training in. You could pick to raise your strength. You could pick to make your powers better. This character is specifically training the secret to unlock the origin of superpowers. I'm being vague because I don't want to spoil issue number 2 of Heroic Tales. So they set up a scanner, and this character's female, Red Star. And Red Star saw a blip on a screen. And it was like, for a split second. And it was only because they recorded
anomalies that it wasn't there at that particular moment. And like, what was that? And then they scan, and it turns out to be it's in the deserts of China. So like, what are we going to do? So they found out that there was an old Chinese city that was flooded. The people evacuated. The government planned the flood, and the city is now under the water. And so they got this stealth craft, flew high into the atmosphere, and then like used like XCOM, I call them hawks, high altitude wing kites, so that basically like wing, you hit this thing and wings come out, and they flew down. Now here's the thing: one of the characters has force field. Red Star has force field powers. Roy didn't say, I'm turning on the force field. So if you don't say I'm turning on the force field, you don't have your force field activated. You have to tell me. And Roy was really good. He said while they were gearing up, because these guys have super level clearance and lots and lots of money, and I don't want to get into the whole politics because it's going to be part of Heroic Tales, but they're between organizations. Just think of it like when Nick Fury took down S.H.I.E.L.D. and then S.H.I.E.L.D. went from the old name to the new name. They're in this period between organizations. So like this, nobody really knows what the chain of command is, and that's on purpose. So they were like, John will give us whatever equipment we want, but we need to say what we're taking. Like, no, you don't have the nuclear accelerate. You didn't say you were taking the nuclear accelerate. You don't have the ultimate nullifier. You didn't say. So they were meticulously talking about which equipment. We're going underwater. We have scuba gear. We're going to take these hawk suits. One guy was like, I'm reloading pistols and blah, 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 stuff like that. So they got it. You say what you're taking, and for the most part, if it makes sense, you don't have a problem equipping yourself. So now they're flying down. So I told them they had to make agility. You had to make 3 agility saves to land properly, because they were going to hit the water and then go right into scuba mode. Roy's character rolled a 20. Now, that sounds good, but V&V, you need to roll 1. You need to roll low. So a 1 is the best, a 20 is the worst. So he critical fumbled that roll. Boom, right into the mountain. Unconscious. Boom. And he just said, man, I should have activated my force field. No problem. Another character has non-corporealness, but didn't say they were using that. So that character went to go rescue Roy's character, Red Star, and bad guys started to attack. And he's just like, but I'm non-corporeal. I said, you never said you were non-corporeal. Just because you have that power, you got to say it. Human Torch. If you have the Human Torch as a character, you got to let me know when you're on fire, when you're not on fire. And if you don't say it, because that opens up arguments. It's like, well, I meant to. So I'm just trying to drill in. You got to say it. So that, whatever. So we're talking about NPCs can play every part. So poor Roy was literally unconscious for the entire game. But he just sat there and was into the story. And every once in a while, guys had medical skills. They were trying to revive Roy's character. And Roy just failed the roles. And I just admire his perseverance. He just sat there, didn't look on his phone, didn't get mad. But there's heavy consequences. All because he didn't say, I'm turning on my force field. So that's that. So yes, and NPCs have a couple of NPCs were just killed in front of everybody. If there's, and like Roy and Scott said, let the dice tell the story. Some of the best role-playing incidents are because of critical fumbles or critical hits. So there was a few. Jimmy's character, he didn't crit. Yeah, I don't think he rolled a 20. I don't think he did a critical fumble, but he failed his agility save, and he hit the mountain also. But he didn't get knocked out, but he did break his collarbone. There's a damage. Roy's character was knocked out for a lot of damage, but miraculously saved the critical damage. But Jimmy's character didn't take a lot of damage, but just the way the dice rolled broke his collarbone. So Jimmy can't lift up his right arm. So he fashioned himself a sling, but he has power blast. So Jimmy's character, every time he uses an action, he has to make an endurance save or he loses his action because of the pain. Yeah, there's consequences. And Dave's character, last story, was killed, died. You know, I don't mean to be harsh, but the first time you play with me, the second time you play with me, I'll fudge the rolls in your favor. But once I think you got it, you know, you live and die by dice rolls kind of thing. Yeah. So yes, player characters, NPC characters, they die. They die. And when you die, you're dead. You know, I think I made an exception that characters came back from the dead just because of super situations or just because like we needed this to finish a story. You know, and then all three of those characters have since died again. So there we go. Phantom Outsider. Well, guys got me talking a lot. There's season 1 now and again where a scientist builds a perfect body, puts insurance salesman John Goodman's brain in it. I've never heard of this show. There's so many shows. This really is a golden age of TV shows. I've never seen Squid Games. It looks like a reality show, and I don't watch any reality shows. And I know it's not a reality show, but I don't want to watch a fake reality show. So I did want. People say it's good. I hear the second season's terrible, but whatever. Maybe I'll check it out. Marcus, the new Matlock is only related to the original. The original show is a TV show people watch in the new Matlock. That's interesting. So the character of Matlock of the new show is not Matlock. They just pretended to be Matlock. That's an interesting twist. That's a cool twist that I could get behind, if that's the case. I never watched The Office until I was in an old age home after COVID. You have to watch a few episodes. People keep telling me I would love it. Answer carefully. It will determine if you get invited to my birthday party or not. Well, I already answered, so I guess I'm not invited. Mystic Quest is about a video game studio. A lot of geek references. I've never heard it. Never heard the show. There's so many good TV shows. I actually get stressed out when people tell me about a good TV show. Then the show shouldn't be named Matlock. Yes, Marcus, season 2 is when The Office really picks up. Same with Parks and Recreation. It gets better with every season. It gets better. It starts out slow. Politics, multiple blood-sucking parasites. Can't argue with. Hey, Matthew Crick, I haven't heard back from you about coming on. Matthew, just so you know, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm having an open invite for anybody to pitch their comics. Anybody, come on, pitch their comics. So come on in, Matt. You know, I scheduled Matthew, and then I realized I double booked, and then we haven't been able to figure out a time, and I feel really bad. Squid Game is nothing like reality. I didn't watch it, so I don't know. I guess I can't go to your birthday party. So I'm all caught up. I should make a joke about 69 viewers. 69 viewers. What? Anybody want to say anything? Unfortunately, I'm working this Friday night. Oh man, talk about, you know, it's destiny. So, what do you guys want to talk about? If anything, I'm going to go. My coffee cup this is my last sip of my coffee cup. I want to take a little nap to clear the sleep from my eyes, and then I want to work on Eddie is Doomed. It's real funny because I originally wrote Eddie is Doomed, and it was I didn't write it in I wrote it like Marvel method, and I sent it to a Tonic Roll. And then Oscar started liking the character designs and then started making superheroes for it. And I was like, I got to change this. I got to up the superhero portion because Oscar did some great characters. So I started rewriting the script. I'm on page 2 of the original script, and it's 15 pages of the new script. So I got 9 pages of the original scripts. I don't know how long this monster is going to be. So there you go. The Franchise is a show you should check out. It's a comedy about making a Marvel super type. Oh, wow. So many shows I never heard of. So this is 2 hours. My anal retentiveness is kicking. This is a good time to say goodbye. So exactly 2 hours. Good night, everybody. I'll see you Wednesday at 8:30. Unless you see me beforehand. But good night, everybody. Goodbye, and have fun. Bye-bye.